Hey, what's going on? It's Johnny from Atlanta Sports Recovery, and I just want to take a minute to talk about the most important thing that you can do for your recovery, and that is sleep. Yes, if you are not sleeping, you are not recovering. Before I get into the rest of my spiel, I just want to define two terms I'm going to use real quick. They're big biology terms. One is anabolic, and the other is catabolic, or anabolism and catabolism. Sorry, hard for me to say it even. Anabolic means build up, catabolic means tear down. So anabolic processes in our body is how we recover from things. Catabolic is breakdown. Sleep is where all of our anabolic processes happen at. So we get into our first phase of sleep, especially our first sleep cycle. We get a ton of deep sleep, and during that deep sleep, our body is making some really important hormones. That is like testosterone, growth factor, insulin-like growth factor. Those all happen there. Catabolic hormones are like cortisol and things that like actually stunt the healing process in our body. So again, if you didn't track that, anabolic things happen during sleep, specifically during that sleep cycle. To illustrate this, there's a great study done by the head of UCLA's endocrinology department, Dr. Peter Liao, on men and the effects of testosterone in men. And they took all these men and they placed them on a bell curve, and they broke them out into marks of 20%. So you have 80% to 100, 60 to 80, so on and so forth. And they found that men that scored in the 80th percentile or higher in testosterone values lived longer and had much less disease than everybody else in the bell curve. The really crazy thing is every quintile that you drop down, the sooner that you die and the more disease that you have goes up by 10x. So let's say your life expectancy, if you had really good hormone values, free hormone values was like 80. If you then drop down, your hormones went down, so you scored into that 60th to 80 percentile, you would expect to live 10 years younger based on this study. So again, that anabolic hormone, testosterone, is super important. That study was done on men, but men and women both make testosterone, and it's important to both of us. Dr. Amanda can speak a little bit more specifically on how it's important to women. I'm not going to get into that, but testosterone is very important to women and men for our recovery. And again, that is only made in our bodies during sleep. So if you're not sleeping, you won't produce testosterone, you won't heal, and you can kind of theorize that you are also going to shorten your lifespan and increase your likelihood to have disease. Now, to really illustrate this, there's another guy named Dr. Matt Walker. He's kind of like the world's expert on sleep. He's done Rogan. He has a masterclass out. You should go check him out. He's brilliant, way smarter than me on sleep. But he says that if you only sleep 5 to 6 hours a night, your hormone profile becomes a decade older. So if I'm sleeping five hours a night, I'm currently 39, my hormone profile would look like somebody that's 49. So by not sleeping, I'm essentially gonna make my performance, I'm gonna make my capacity to do things in life, my energy, just generally worse by not sleeping. So sleep is so important. It is more important than exercise. It is more important than nutrition. It is like, if we had to rank the pillars of health, I would say that is like the most important one. Obviously got to eat to live, but like once we get past that, for like being human, having your functions work well, and not shortening your life expectancy, you gotta have sleep. So some actionable things you can do with this information. We all know to sleep. Hey, we need to sleep now, but actionable takeaways that you can have to help you sleep better. One is don't drink. It ruins your sleep, especially your deep sleep. But if you're gonna have drinks, try and stop at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That's gonna give you the best shot of having a normal sleep cycle. 2 is don't take sleep aids, Ambien, melatonin, all those things. They ruin your REM sleep. So that's another really important phase of sleep for anabolic activity. if you're taking those, it pretty much gets rid of that part of sleep. So you won't have any REM sleep, and you'll still be missing a whole phase of development there. A couple other things that are really important ways to get you to sleep sooner is to stay off the devices 30 minutes before bed, cut out all the blue light. Blue light in your eye, or the lack thereof, is what signals your body to start sleeping. And then the second thing there is to keep your room really cold. That also starts signaling our body to sleep. So sleep is so important for recovery. There is nothing that you can do in the recovery domain that is more important. And we see this all the time with people. They come into our office, they have pain, don't feel motivated, I'm not able to hit these numbers, I'm not able to perform the way I am before. And the first question we'll ask is, how much are you sleeping? Well, you know, I'm busy, I'm studying, I got this going on, kids that. I'm only getting like 5-6 hours a night. That's putting the cart before the horse by coming to our office. You don't need to come to our office. You should, but like, we're going to tell you got to sleep more. Your knee's not going to get better. Whatever thing is going on, it's not going to get better unless your sleep is in line, and you can have all these anabolic processes to naturally heal your body. A couple other suggestions here. One, if you don't have some sort of device that can help you track sleep, you should look at the trends. Don't get hung up on day over day, but you should look at weeks and then compare them to how you're feeling. So I'll use myself as an example. This last week, Amy and I, it was actually yesterday, took our dogs out for a run. At the end of the run, we met up at a track that's right by our house, and we just had like a little dog race. So I had a dog, Amy had a dog, we both sprinted, and I felt garbagey during it. Like, I just felt like my gear wasn't there. Like, I only had 1 or 2 speeds, I was missing 3 and 4. And so I just took a little glance back, and it turns out that I have been sleeping terribly for the last 2 weeks. I've been staying up late on my phone when I lay in bed. I've been looking up some things that I really should have just prioritized and looked up during the day, or answering emails, or whatever it is. But my sleep's been garbage. I've gotten no more than 30 minutes of deep sleep per night. And it's just pushing my mood, it's pushing my performance, and definitely pushing my healing in a negative trend. So use the information from that, and now I'm going to make some changes. So I'm going to make sure this week that I'm getting in bed earlier, that I got the room blacked out, that I'm reading a book if I need to settle myself down, and not putting any kind of blue light into my eyes. So it really, really matters. But track that sleep trend so you have some sort of measurable to look at. Again, alcohol is awesome. I love it, but it's not rad for your sleep. So try and stay off that stuff. Make sure you get your sleep, guys. That is the moral of this story. Super important. And if you need any help with it, we would love to talk to you about it. It's part of what we do as a sports recovery practice. Hit us up.